Good morning again. Time for breakfast with Tork. And I have my nice, fresh, soft bolito. Although I noticed the signs in the store say bolilos or bolillos. So you can't go by what I say. I'm completely undependable. This morning's breakfast, which is brought to you by Alka-Seltzer, is scrambled eggs with pulpo. Pulpo, that's Spanish for octopus. They sell it in cans like sardines. Goya has a lot of interesting things. And so I bought a can. It comes packed in vegetable oil with garlic, so I toss it in the fry pan, let it fry for a minute, and then I put in some milk and eggs, and in this case some green onions, and go to town. Looks good, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's try it. Well, the eggs are kind of watery. I can make good scrambled eggs if I just am patient, take the time, let all the liquids evaporate over low heat. I think in one of the Nero Wolfe books, he gives a recipe for scrambled eggs, and he says, please, let them cook slowly, at least 20 minutes. Well, who's got time for 20 minutes when you're cooking scrambled eggs? You just get them in there, man, and fry them up. Am I right, or am I right? What? Now this, I'm very happy with this discovery, these little buns of bread. Instead of buns of steel, I have buns of bread. It could be a new comic book superhero. Bread man with buns of dough. Here you go. By day, a mild-mannered baker. And at night, he puts on a flour sack. Goes out to fight crime, sees a criminal. He can throw flour in his eyes, maybe. Hit him over the head with a crusty French roll. Have a biscuit launcher, that kind of thing. Somebody wants to draw that up for me, go right ahead. We'll split the profits 50-50. Well, like a lot of seafood, especially canned seafood, this has a slightly off taste. Canned seafood, canned salmon, tuna, clams, oysters. To me, they always taste a little off. However, not sardines. They always, in the can, they always taste wonderful to me. For dessert today, I have a cream parfait made by Raimundo's. It's called a gelatin dessert. Where are these people at? Broadview, Illinois. I thought it was a Mexican deal. Huh. It's full of sugar, though, I made sure before I bought it. I remember buying some one of those little plastic bowls of Jell-O at the regular supermarket. No sugar. They put in what is that stuff they put in? Baking powder, baby powder, talcum, aspartame. I don't know. It's terrible stuff. It doesn't taste sweet, and then it leaves such an aftertaste that you want to cut your tongue out and run it over with a tractor. Kool-Aid pink lemonade again. Well, let me take one more bite and then I'll show you something. Mm. Yes, this is a hand-painted American flag. Some of you may know that I have a hobby obsession with painting these and then mailing them to people that generally I do not know. In this case, it's going to a Marjorie E. Goldberg in Washington, D.C. I don't know her, never met her, I've never talked to her. I just Googled her address and painted that flag and put it on there, and so she'll get it in a couple of days, I guess. Well, maybe she'll never get it. She might receive it, but she won't get it. Send out hundreds of flags the last couple of years. Why, you may ask? I guess I'd have to call it postal graffiti. I just like thinking about complete strangers who don't know me opening up their mailbox one day and getting one of these and saying, "What the? Who sent this? What is this? How dare they?" So I always put my return address on them so people know who I am and where I live. But I've never heard back from anybody. Well, one guy, Mike Smith, he asked for one when he saw me doing them. So I sent him one and he said thank you. But otherwise, nobody's ever acknowledged them. Okay by me. I'm doing my part to keep the U.S. postal system going. You used to get a lot of fun things in the mail. Snail mail. There were chain letters. You get letters from friends, postcards. Pen pals. That was a great concept, pen pals. Now it's all email. It's this, that, email, e-readers, e-newspapers, I guess you'd call them. 20 years from now, we won't have any snail mail. It's going to be email. That's all we'll have. Everything will be email, e-food. I won't be able to eat a meal like this. It'll be on a screen somewhere, and I'll just have to stick my fingers into it, and the nutrition will come right through my fingertips, and I'll be fed. Kind of like on the Jetsons, where all they had was a pill to eat. Remember that? Same thing. Sad. E-sex. People will have to wear e-condoms. Otherwise, they'll get e-HIV. I don't know. Everything is going digital. Could be a good thing. I don't know. Don't have to cut down so many trees. It seems to me the way we're working on biodiesel, biofuels, using everything from grass to cattails to weeds to make fuel. We could do the same thing to make paper. You don't have to cut down all the trees to make paper, I don't think. I like letters. I like writing them. It used to be so much fun to sit down and write a letter. You could really let your mind play. I think that's why people growing up today, growing up recently, for the most part, really don't know how to express themselves. They do such a wretched job of it. It's not because they don't know how to read, how to speak, but they're so busy with their emails and texting that they have never learned to do leisurely communication. When was the last time you had a leisurely conversation? Sitting on a porch, sipping Kool-Aid or lemonade, watching the clouds roll by, listening to a robin, and talking about nothing in particular with somebody else. Been a long time since I've done it. Very enjoyable when you do it. And sometimes you come up with a funny saying or a funny idea, or a memory is sparked, and you tell it. Stories get told. That's how we learn about each other. You don't. What do you learn from anybody by their email? Do you learn anything? Do you really learn much from a Facebook page? I don't know. I always think of Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. Now, in their heyday, they were political rivals and pretty much enemies. And they parted badly and went back to their respective states of Virginia and Massachusetts. 20 years or so went by. They're both old, and they were about due to go on to the next life. So John Adams, I think it was, took the initiative and wrote a friendly little letter to Thomas Jefferson just to ask how he was and to say, all in all, I was proud to know you, proud to work with you. Well, that's all it took. Jefferson wrote him back, and they corresponded with each other for the next couple of years. Wonderful. Wonderful correspondence. Who does that anymore? Who would do that through email? You wouldn't, because you'd be afraid that somebody would hack into it. Nobody hacks a letter. If I were to win the lottery, I think I would found and promote the Handwritten Letter Society. I would pay people just to sit down and write each other letters. I think all our servicemen should get letters, personal letters. Prisoners should get them. Old people stuck in nursing homes, shut-ins. I would have modest but very comfortable buildings built with the single purpose of writing and reading letters. Nice, comfortable leather chairs, good desks, plenty of stationery, fine cream colored envelopes, stamps, people could just sit down, write to someone, write to their parents, write to a child, write to an enemy, I don't know. Write to the ambassador of Norway. I did that. I wrote him a couple weeks ago. I asked for asylum in Norway because I'm sick and tired of this place. Never did hear back from her. What a surprise. Well, I'm proud to say I have not been rambling with you. Everything I've said has been sharp and incisive. And I have one more sharp, incisive comment for you this morning. And that is, goodbye.